All right, Mikayla, taking a look now at your first draft of the project for the project. So, this is part one. Remember that the final project will actually have two parts. First part will be just this part here, what you've written this week, and then or last week. And the second part will be for the same paper but rewritten for a new audience, your different second audience. All right, so let's see how you did with this one. Everything looks good up here, by the way. Technically speaking, your title up here is there. It's supposed to be there, but it also is supposed to be here as well. Not a big deal, but I know the it's not correctly done on the exemplar, so that's one little mistake from the exemplar. But most of the most of the time, the exemplars are spot on and really well done. But that's one little thing they neglected to do correctly on that. So anyway, let's get into it here. Time management has always been an important issue employers have faced. With that in mind, we dive into this. Into time management. Okay, so the title. Um, yeah, you get the full title. You get okay, so you got some punctuation issues here. You're going to want to take a look at maybe let the exemplar help you a little bit with your punctuation. Um, this should be, you should say, there should maybe be a comma and then put the period here, right after Tyler's name, and then start a new sentence or maybe even just delete this and find the reason why. Maybe just delete that part. Um, but yeah, a little bit of punctuation issues there is what that's problem, why that doesn't look quite right. Catherine Tyler talks us through. It could be a little bit better word. You could some of your wording here could be a little bit better. It's one of the important things to do when you revise your paper is to make sure you read things out loud because as you probably hear me as you hear me read some of these things, you'll probably see how it doesn't sound quite right or look quite right, and that's why it's so important to read your work out loud as you go through and fix it. So this might be, you might say something like Catherine Tyler guides us through some findings and solutions, something like that. So a little bit better word maybe that could be better, could be there instead of talks. Um, while many companies pride themselves in the work put out by their employees, most could use some improvements in the article. Okay. This also makes me wonder if you're using the exemplar because in the exemplar, there's a little bit more information here that you would talk about like in the way of leading up to the article, introducing the article. So you go right into introducing the article here. So you need to make sure that you're definitely using that exemplar and letting it really show you how to write your work. Okay, how to think through your work and stuff and how to do it really well. Okay. Um, in the article, there's a section called Defending Your Time. Again, some punctuation issues. Finally, a half day second. Okay, finally, a half day session for managers covered. Delegating work and managing others' times. Okay, so yeah, you're going to you're going to want to do some serious like thinking through how you've written what you've written and work on the wording. You got to make sure you read it out loud so you can understand where you need to work on things. You also need to look at your punctuation, and all of this stuff you would greatly benefit by using the exemplar. Just for an example, the periods always should come after the parenthetical when there is a parenthetical. So you want to move that to here. You should have a space here, right? So you want to have that. I'm not sure about whether or not that needs a comma or not. You could take a look at the exemplar. Well, actually, I can bring up the exemplar. The exemplar is really important. You got to use exemplars because they show you how to really do a great job on your papers. And as you can see, this tells you about applying the historical context and the different things that you need to do according to the rubric right? The topic needs to be introduced, audience purpose, all that kind of stuff needs to be integrated. And I'm not sure if you're quite getting all those things just because you're not following the exemplar. So, so the big thing I got to really say, and I'm probably just going to more or less end with this, is that you have just really got to make sure you follow this exemplars. That's what they're there for, and they are required. Okay, so follow the exemplar. Let us show you how you should actually be writing all of this. You just got a really huge single paragraph here instead of what you should have is like a brief paragraph that's your introduction, and then you should have uh, then after the introduction you should have your first body paragraph that introduces and discusses the first point that you want to make based on your thesis statement. And I'm not seeing a solid thesis statement either. So yeah, you got some work to do. If you need any help with this, if you need any help trying to deal with what I've said here or figure out how to improve things, you can always check with you can always get in touch with uh, one of the well, you can get help from me, of course. You got to follow the exemplar though. There's the primary thing. And also, if you want to, you could have a tutor help you. So you've got some options there to get help if you need it. But you're really going to need to go through and make sure you write this according to the exemplar. Your references page should start on its own new page, so this should be moved down. Um, your references page here should be moved down to on its own new page like this. And this is excess spacing here, so you want to get rid of that. It's not too hard to get rid of that excess spacing. You just go up here and you look at this button here and see if it says remove before and see how that fixes that. So you want to fix that. The entry itself looks okay, except you don't have a URL, which probably you should have a URL here if there is one available, and I'm assuming there would be. And also you want to make sure you tab in these two parts, which is what we call hanging indent. And the easiest way to do that is to put your cursor here and then just hit the Control T button. And then you hit that Control T together and it automatically, as you can just see there, it automatically tabs in this part. So make sure you fix these things. Again, let me know if you need help or see a tutor to get you some help, and make sure you're doing this per the exemplar, which I will attach to the grade box area. So that will do it for this video. As always, let me know if you need help or have questions.